Hey Life Architect! Welcome back to the Financial Tracker Template video series. In this video, I'll go over each of the 6 database tables and how the fields are used. In this template, each of these toggle headers houses a database of the corresponding name. Open the Income toggle and you will see several views that have been predefined. I'll cover these views in a future video. For now, let's have a look at the properties of the Income database. As you might expect, this is where you record all the money you receive. The name field is a description of the money source. Next, we have the amount, which is a number, and a date. The type field is a select property, which means you can select one from a list of predefined values. I've added some common options here, but we'll show you how to change these and add others in the next video. The last 3 properties you will see are relations to other tables, the pay period, month, and year tables. This means that each page in this income database is explicitly linked to a page in another database. By defining these as separate databases, you'll be able to better review your spending and plan for the future. Next, we have the expenses database, which is likely the one you will interact with most frequently because it's where you record the money you spend. Again, we have the name field to describe the expense, a number amount, and an expense date. The payment method property is a select field where you will list all the accounts you use for expenses. Category refers to the type of expense and is a relation to a database that we will look at in the next video. Here we also see relations to the pay periods, months, and years databases. The paid field is a checkbox that's used in several views for budgeting, and the statement checkbox will help you reconcile your accounts with statements. If you don't plan to reconcile your statements, you can delete this property using this garbage can icon. Next, we have the categories database, which represents different types of expenses. I have already added quite a few categories, but we'll show you how to update these to suit your life in the next video. Each category has a name, and as you saw above, links to different expenses through a relation property. The all-time total spent amount is a property called a roll-up that calculates a total of the amounts for all expenses linked to this category. The next field, 2024 projected, is a formula that generates a sum of all the paid and unpaid expenses for 2024. 2024 spent calculates a sum of only the 2024 expenses that have been paid. Next, we have the pay periods database. We'll go over updating the pay periods according to your pay intervals in the next video, but for now, let's just have a look at the properties. The name field is a description of the dates covered by the pay period. A pay period has a start date and an end date, which will be used to indicate when the pay period is the current pay period. The income relation is linked to all the income received during the interval, which is summed up in the total income roll-up property. Income label is simply a text field that is used for certain views, like this gallery view that we're currently in. So this property is being displayed here to give context to this number. In this gallery view, without these labels, we would have a stack of 3 numbers that have no meaning unless you hover over them. So these labels just make the overview easier to understand at a glance. The expenses relation links to the expenses you recorded during the pay period, and total expenses is a roll-up of the sum. Next, we have another label used for the views. The surplus deficit property is a simple calculation of your total income minus your total expenses for the pay period, followed by another convenience label. Finally, we have the current pay period property. This property is a formula that checks whether the current date is on or between the pay period start and end dates. If it is, the checkbox will be selected. The months and years databases follow a similar pattern. They both have a start date and end date, relations to income and expenses, roll-ups to calculate the total amounts, a calculation of surplus or deficit, and convenience labels for views. The months database has a current month property, whereas the years database has current year. Both are determined by comparing the current date to the start and end dates. So now that you have a fundamental understanding of how these databases are used and interact, I hope it allows you to better customize this template for your lifestyle, which is what we'll do next.